pleasant Monday to everybody. We welcome you to Sports Unleashed. David Black, Hayden Schultz, and that's Ben Black down there on the end. That's Josh Nation, who you never see, but it's always got a good sports opinion when it comes to talking about what's going on in the sports world. And welcome back, guys. We're on the air.
Glad to be back, man. Monday night sports show. Summed up a little Greyhound football this week, which is a little bittersweet, but got some basketball coming up.
Hayden, what's up, my friend?
It's hanging in there, just hanging in there. Obviously, like Ben said, didn't go way Hounds wanted, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Well, we've got what we think is a fine show. We're going to talk about the Greyhounds. We're going to talk a little bit about the playoff picture and who's left. We're going to make predictions, and we'll talk about the four teams that are left. Maybe talk a little, if we have time, a little Razorback football, a little Razorback basketball. Newport Greyhound basketball been playing some, but now they get their football players back. The girls have been at full strength. We'll talk about them, maybe the NFL. We'll have some other things to talk about. But we want to talk about the Greyhound and the post-game report. Bank of England Mortgage Company, Kenny Thaxton, and their crew down there is simply just amazing. When it comes to lending you money and taking care of the process, these are the folks that we highly recommend at the Bank of England Mortgage Company in the Newport Village Mall. Hello to my good friend Mike Gleghorn over at Jonesboro ASU Indian at one time, and folks probably young as you don't remember the ASU Indians.
Well, I do.
You do, really?
Yeah.
I do too. I thought you maybe just Red Wolves.
Red Bulls only been around like 10 years, though.
Oh, okay. How old are
We
you?
thought you were like 12.
Well, I just thought anyway, former ASU Indian, Mike Leghorn. I saw him the other day in some place over in Jonesboro. I don't even remember where it was. But, guys, we went on the road. We had a great visit with Coach Hinesley last week to talk about going down, a tremendous challenge for our football team going to Prescott. You had to play perfectly to win. You go down there, the first play of the game, their All-State All-American tailback gets hurt, and we actually led in the ball game with 9:22 to play in the second quarter. First of all, Ben Black, give me some thoughts about the game.
Well, David, like you said, it didn't end the way we wanted it to, and it never does. You know, very rarely do you get to go home, and I think they allow was there 6 conferences? I think they allow 6 in Arkansas a year out of all the teams that play, end on a high note. But it was a good season, I feel like. I feel like we learned some things about our football team. You know, I hate it that the seniors, you always hate it for that senior group that has to move on. And you always think, man, what if this, what if that? And it's easy to do that. But all in all, I thought it was a good year. And I'm proud of them, proud to be a Hound. And, you know, we got to grow, got to get better, and move forward next year.
Hayden, we go down and have a great broadcast. We thought we were going to have some trouble getting on the air, but we did get on the air. But from a football standpoint, great atmosphere, great crowd from Newport being down there. Talk a little bit about your thoughts.
Well, I agree with you on that, David. It was an experience to see that, you know, on the Friday after Thanksgiving, getting to play on the road at one of the teams that I would consider a powerhouse in the past 5-10 years. Prescott, who's always there, always got a good football team, a great atmosphere for football. The officials stayed out of the game. It was just one of those games where everything felt right. And the Hounds do come up a little short. You talked about had to play a perfect game, and the Hounds didn't play perfect, and that's why Prescott took the game into their own hands. And you could say, their All-State, All-American tailback gets hurt. Well, we lose our quarterback, too, early in the first quarter.
Sure.
And had to bring in the freshman, Denton, who I thought did an exceptional job coming into the football game and saying, hey, you're going to have to run the football here. Young man, you're 14 years old and you're about to get hit by some grown men. And I thought he did a great job on the ground, even hitting the touchdown to Crichton. I mean, had a little momentum, a little spark. Hounds just fall short, and I don't think it was lack of effort. I thought these kids played exceptionally hard. I thought our D-line played an exceptional ball game. Cook and Robinson and the Godaires were in the backfield all night. Carson Poole, the quarterback for Prescott, I thought extended plays and made the plays that needed to be made. Just couldn't get our hands on that guy when it seemed like we needed to on a big third down to stop those guys. And you turn the ball over a few times on a fake punt, and then you fumble at the 3, and they pick it up and score, and you throw a pick 6. I mean, it's those things where it's just hard to overcome, especially on the road, and especially a football team in Prescott that is good as advertised for sure.
Well, we looked at with 9:21 to go when we were up 7-6, and then over the course of the next 6 minutes, these guys score 4 touchdowns in 6 minutes, and then we just kind of put the game away there. But it wasn't, like you say, it wasn't from lack of effort by our football team, our kids. I think our coaching staff, we were prepared as well as we could possibly be prepared. That bunch from Prescott didn't do anything that we didn't think, we weren't ready for. There weren't any trick plays that they pulled they lined up and they won the football game. They've got a great football team. Anytime you go to a football game when you're undefeated on the year and you win 13 games, they have a great football program and a historic football program like Newport. I think won more state championships than Newport probably been. They've won 5 total, Josh says. And their coach is he's a Prescott player. He's a guy that came home and they continue to do well but anyway, my hat's off to our coaching staff, our whole program. I'm proud of where we are. Now you go and you say, well, you're 6-5 and what happened? And I still go back to losing the 2 conference games that we lost on the schedule that we didn't lose playing and we would have won. You lose in the schedule, the Heber Springs game. I think that's 3 victories that you could have had, and it really makes your record look a lot better. But you play and win 2 playoff games, and you get to play on a Friday after a Thursday Thanksgiving. You get to have coffee and donuts. It was a very successful season out there. So, there's no reason for anybody to be dissatisfied of our effort. We want to go win state championships. We want to win conference championships, and those are always the goals. And if those are not the goals, you're not in a very good program.
I totally agree, David. And, like you said, you look back and see the 6 wins, and it's like, well, what kind of happened to Newport? And then you look at the end of the year, these guys are playing in the 3rd round of the playoffs for a chance to go to a semifinal game. I don't think that it was obviously a season we didn't want to have, but at the same time, it's a season you can look back and tip your hat and say, well, these kids played hard, even though the adversity that they faced throughout the year, they stuck with it, they played hard, they grinded. Just a little outmanned, outmatched in that last game, and those things happen when you start playing into those deeper games. I thought you hit the nail on the head. I thought we were prepared. Going in that week 0 when we played Prescott, I did not think we were ready. I didn't think that maybe the big lights or the big stage for some of the kids and, having a quarterback that's never played in a football game at quarterback at high school level. There's a lot of things you factor in, and then you look at this group going into Prescott. At Prescott, it was a totally different ball game. It was one of those games where you just felt, boy, the Hounds need a big one right here, and this thing could turn around. And it just, sometimes you don't get the tough breaks, but I'm proud of the football team that we had this year.
Yeah, you mentioned about our defensive line, and of course we made some changes in the offensive line too, but linebacker secondary play, talk a little bit about that as well.
Well, you talk about C.J. Young and Antoine Hardaway, which Hardaway is a senior, and we'll deeply miss that guy. I think that he laid the hardest hit I've seen in high school football this year. Not that he laid the hardest hit this year
that you've ever seen.
That I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Right.
It was solid.
I've never seen anybody come out of there and hit a guy like that, and we'll miss a guy like that, and obviously you lose Jadarius Reed, a guy who's always been hey, Jadarius, you're going to play safety. And this way you're going to play outside linebacker. Jadarius, you might have to play nose guard this week, and the kid never, flinches. And that's a guy that you're deeply going to miss in that secondary. And then you talk about a guy like Eli Alcorn, defensive back and played quarterback early in his career, had to switch over to the receiver position. You're going to miss a guy like that. Tristan Griffin, another guy in that secondary that you're going to miss. I mean, you can go on and on and on about these guys, but not to look forward by no means. But you got some of these guys coming back, and you see some of the talent that we still have in this program, and we're not going to be rebuilding. We're going to be reloading this coming year. And Hounds fall short, obviously, but I thought David said the defensive line played an exceptional part in the game, but I thought the secondary did as well. I mean, these guys have been fun to watch all year. So, looking forward, I think the team coming back.
Well, and you talk about the secondary, we talk about the speed back there, being just a loaded group with a lot of speed.
Oh, yeah, those guys can move, man. You just talk about Crichton, Griffin. I mean, all of them. Any guy that you look out there, there's just speed, there's quickness out there, there's athletic ability. That's one thing I would say about that group, man, is just
3, 4, 5, and 10. I mean, all those guys could play.
Yeah, Curry. I mean,
Yes, sir.
they're just tremendous athletes and playmakers. Those guys are playmakers. Those guys are, they make big plays in big games. And just to end their season like that the other night, and like Hayden said, Prescott's pretty darn good. But I just, like you said, we're secondary. Played well. Linebackers played great. You mentioned the linebackers, C.J. Young, Antoine Hardaway. I believe Elston played some at linebacker here and there. I mean, we just
Caden Johnson in secondary on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I hate to start naming because you don't ever
you
leave
miss somebody.
But defensively, I thought we were solid, man, as we have been for several years. And down through the season, we would get those big third down, fourth down stops, and like Hayden said, we just could not seem to get our hands on that quarterback the other night. And he's a pretty good player. The guy from Prescott, he just was a good player, could move and had every break, it seemed like. I remember one time we were trying to tackle him around the end. He was moving around the end, and he just pitches it forward to a receiver who missed his block, and they just get, tackle for loss up in the gain of
Patrick
7.
Mahomes type play.
Yes, just make something out of nothing and do it over and over and over. And that guy did a lot of that. But, no, defensively I thought we were strong. Enjoyed watching that defense play ball for sure.
Well, anytime you look at what you do offensively, you have to look at an offensive line and it all started with Will Keedy, and he was tremendous all year long. I don't know that we had a bad snap all year. We had, if maybe one, maybe out of the
not even a long snap.
Not even a long snap for a punt. I mean, how good was that guy anchoring our offensive line?
And you look at him and you're like, well, this guy doesn't look like a center. He doesn't look like an offensive lineman, but you talk about a guy who obviously knows the game, and very smart, not a guy that's going to go and blow a guy up, but a guy that knows about position and getting his hands and his hips where they need to go. You just talk about a guy that does his job and does it correctly and then leads by example with the knowledge that he knows, and definitely one of the smartest kids out there, and you have him at your quarterback for the offensive line, and you talk about guys like Brady Cook, who you're going to miss, and Jeremy Jarrett, big Jeremy. You're obviously going to miss him in the extra point game.
Right.
This guy won you Melbourne. Without Jeremy Jarrett, you don't beat Melbourne. You might be still playing that game.
No doubt.
So you're going to miss, obviously, some of those key guys on the offense and defensive line. But like I said, you got some guys coming back. You've got good things to look at, and it looks like the Hounds are right there at the hump. And, if they can get some things together coming next year, they might get over this hump and make a semifinal run and possibly a state title run.
And of course, Jacob Ozier will be back, and of course, you talk about Abel and his little brother, who's not such a little brother. We've got a good group coming back.
You got a lot of guys coming back, and then you got a lot of ninth graders,
Right.
and that ninth grader group. You got some athletes. You got the Sampson boy, the Denton kid, who obviously played. Bubba Phillips's boy, Tonio Phillips, can go. The Norris boy, he can go. And then you talk about their line. I mean, they got some guys, with Ridley and Salinas. We watched a lot of Salinas get after a guy in junior high football, and Ty Nichols. You'll have some guys in there that got a little weight on them, that could possibly fill into one of those roles. And when you add, some of those guys with a little bit of meat on them up front, that way you can kind of move and dictate the line of scrimmage along with our skill guys, I mean, it's a good recipe for a winning football team.
Yeah, my senior year, we had an offensive line like that. Some younger guys that we didn't know. They had some size. We didn't know if they were going to be able to step up and fill in. Well, they do, and they do well. And it's always good to have those young numbers of guys coming in on your O-line.
You know, we get to talk to a lot of people about what we do and how we do it, and we honestly get a lot of compliments, and we appreciate anybody, especially when you go on the road, and the folks that really took care of us. Jim Holly, just masterful media guy that took care of us down at Prescott. I always like to brag on those people, but what an honor to get to do, guys, what we get to do. I mean, the four of us we get to announce Greyhound football, and I always talk about how long I've done it and blah, blah, blah. I can't imagine doing anything else on a Friday night besides being in a high school football game, and even I can't imagine sitting in the stands. I know I'm too old to broadcast. I'm too old to see them. But I enjoy talking about the Newport Greyhounds. If it were any other place in the world, I don't know that I would be as excited as what I always get. I always hate for it to end, and then I get to start thinking about basketball, and it's coming up. But let's end our football segment right here with the Prescott post-game report, Unity Health Subway. We didn't want to name a player of the game because you didn't want to pick anybody on a last game when you want to pick every senior. And, our seniors were our players of the game, and we talked about them on the air the other night. But let's get Coach Hinsley's last word here. Thank you, guys, and Coach Mark Hinsley. Anytime it's over, you have to talk to your seniors, and you talk to those seniors, and you told them what a great, been a great run for them.
David, like I tell them, when you've been here as long as I have, you just remember those kids from when they were Pee-wee. I remember them in 4th and 5th grade or 6th grade winning it all when they're Pee-wee, and when you see kids grow up like that, it means a lot when they're in this situation, and it really hurts you when you see them like that. So, very proud of them. It's been a fun watching them. It's been fun to be around them, and just a hard group to see go.
Well, I tell you, really a phenomenal year. The record itself, when we talked about this, we missed the 2 games, in the conference, and you missed the Heber Springs game, which were all winnable games. But, man, we made it to the 3rd round of the playoffs and got to play the day after Thanksgiving. It's been an awesome year, but we've had a lot of challenges, but it's been a great year for us.
It has. It's been a lot of challenges, and, that's what, I was talking about earlier today. That's what high school football is about. It's about, not having the best of scenarios, and our kids just kept coming back. They, it really showed their maturation, but from the first week to the now. So, our kids kept fighting. That's what we need to be proud of.
Well, I want to just mention one thing here. These guys score 6-0. They miss the extra point, and then all of a sudden, the Hounds leading 7-6 into the second quarter. And and then we continue to fight even after those guys got on the roll. I think, as you say, that's so important.
It was, and that's, we had every excuse, and that's what I told them at halftime, and that's what I kept telling them in the second. We had every reason just to fold it up, and our guys kept fighting, and then that's really what I want, and that's what I told the guys at the end of the game. That's what I want them to be remembered at in this last ball game, not the scoreboard. It's how they kept fighting for 4 quarters.
Well, they did that for sure, and I'm very proud of the Newport Greyhounds, and I'm certainly proud of Coach Mark Hinsley and your staff. You guys work these kids, and you work them year-round. They don't mind the work. You got a great core group. You lose a good senior group, but you got a great core group coming back.
We do, and that's the motivation you go into, and that's why when you go deep in the playoffs, it's that monster you're trying to feed for next year. So, it's just getting back in the weight room, trying to get stronger, trying to get bigger, and leaving that bad taste in your mouth for next year.
Well, we'll look forward to it. I guarantee you we'll be back on the air again next year, Cable 15 TV. I'm going to go ahead and get my 41st year in next year. You kind of got me excited. Yeah. Got good groups coming. So, Coach Mark Heisler, we enjoyed it. Great year. And as always, go Hounds. From football to Greyhound basketball. Hayden, we're already playing. The girls are playing full strength. The boys will be playing full strength. New coaches on both ends. Should be exciting when we get to start doing our broadcast. We'll start sometime in December. I think we're going to start Tuesday the 7th with Cave City at home, and then Pangburn at home on the 10th, at Ball Knob on the 14th, and Harding Academy at home on the 17th. So we're gonna just jump right into it, and I'm excited about basketball again.
Yeah, I'm excited. Girls basketball with a new head coach, Coach Thomas, and I know you got to meet with him in an interview, and you talk about some of the girls that are getting to come back, and obviously you're going to miss some of the Prices and Jacayla Dixons that were really the glue of the team last year that really helped you. But you talk about a Reagan Head going to get to step up and be a leader on this team, a girl that can go get 40 any given night. And
she can play.
There'll be some nights where it'll be rocking at Greyhound Fieldhouse when she's playing and she's hitting them from the parking lot. I mean, it's exciting when you get to watch it. You obviously got the Grace Fain coming back, a girl who I thought last year played as hard as anybody I've ever seen play a basketball game. I mean, there was games where we were down 18, late in the third quarter, and she's still out there, just giving it everything she's got. And you got the Henderson girl. I think you got to move in from Augusta, and I'm not positive on her name. So you've got some girls, obviously they're going to, mold, and you got a good junior high program right now, and boys and girls. And so you kind of see the future of Coach Thomas with those girls and how they handle themselves and how they can play. Going to morph in, because all those girls that are ninth graders get to move in next year and get to play with the core girls that we have now. So obviously I think it'll be exciting. And then you talk about boys basketball, and you get Kendall back, and you talk about a highlight reel with him and Crite. I mean, it ought to be fun, and there ought to be some slams, and there ought to be some good stuff, and
a little rim shaking.
There'll be some rim shaking, and there'll be some ball stoning to about the 15th row up for sure. You talk about a move in like Jonathan Moore, the Chancellor's boy moving in. We watched him in the Orange and Black game, and I was very impressed with his ball handling.
He's a player.
His ability to get to the basket. I think he's going to be one of those guys that just slides right in here at a guard position. You got the Fraziers, obviously, both the twins still back. And the one that I really liked was I can't ever get his name right. Slotchenhausen they call him Coleslaw. I can't think of his name, but his boy, Slotchauer.
Yeah,
his boy came in. Let me tell you, that kid can play. In that Orange and Black game, he is a hustler.
Yes, sir.
And he can shoot the three ball. So you'll see an aggressive bunch, I think, with the boys. I think they're going to be a lot of tempo, a lot of guys in and out.
Yeah,
you might see some platoon swaps with 5 coming in for 5 and getting those guys a quick breather and then bringing the next 5 in and just rotating. I think it's going to be an exciting year with a lot of go, and a lot of points scored, boys and girls.
Got another Gates playing this year, but not the oldest one. It's the middle boy. So,
and he can shoot it from deep.
Jackson can shoot it.
all them Gates boys can shoot it from deep. You talk about Malachi last year coming in at Harding,
Man.
and it was had 2 or 3 guys foul out, and Malachi comes in, and we try to run a play, and it doesn't really work out, and he's probably standing 4 or 5 foot behind the 3-point line. I'm like, don't do that, and he banks it in at the buzzer to win, and I was like, yes,
That was great.
So I mean, it should be exciting. Was visiting with Brandon Gates at that Orange and Black game. I know he's going to miss it, but I know that he loves what he's doing now, and I think Jackson will fit in. You got some, and then your junior high and the boys and the girls.
Oh man.
Watching some of those guys, the Denton kid, obviously, and I would be shocked if come conference play or district tournament, Denton doesn't move up and play a little bit with the high school, because he's an elite player on the court and on the field, and I see some of those guys kind of moving up. The Ridley boy,
Yep.
he's a playmaker down low, and you got Money in the junior high, an 8th grader that's going to help. It's an exciting time right now at Newport because everybody seems like we're going up.
Right.
Every sport you look at, I mean, tennis is competing. Your basketball team, you've got some pieces in there, and you got new coaches, and you feel like that they're going to set this foundation and go. And I know when you were meeting with Ferguson, he said, "Look, Brandon Gates did build the foundation here. It took him 5 years and got to a state run." He said, "Look, we're our foundation's already built from that guy. Now it's state contenders or bust."
Yeah.
That's what he said. You always like a guy that comes in the first year and says, "Look, if we don't win state, it's a bust. We want to win every year.
Yeah.
We want to be one of the top 4 teams in the state every single year." And I always like a guy with an attitude like that.
Ben, it should be an exciting year, no doubt.
Oh, you just got players coming back. You got players coming up. You get a new coach, like you said. It's very exciting, and I'm excited. I'm ready to get in the booth, and I'm ready to check out the Hounds.
Well, and also we did mention in our 7th grade boys, 7th grade girls, junior high girls, we've got players, but the 7th grade boys, when they came out the other night in the scrimmage game that I saw, I went, wow. I see.
David thought they were junior high.
I did. Honestly, I said, this good-looking junior high team. He said, come on. He says, I know you can't see, but that's the 7th grade. So I appreciate it. But, I mean, there's a lot of athletes, basketball on the move, and we're building a new track. We're resurfacing our track, and that's another deal that you talk about what's going on athletically and
Things taking off with a new
baseball
baseball
field,
coach.
softball.
Chelsea Golden's going to be running the softball pro. I mean, you just talk about all the good things happening right here in Newport, Arkansas. It's going to be an exciting year to see these other guys getting a chance. Like Coach Ferguson. Hey, here's your chance. Let's see what you can do with these boys, and Coach Thomas and Coach Spears and Coach Golden. I'm excited to see where these Greyhounds go.
Well, I think everybody is, and we're going to be glad to be there also. And we have 20 games lined up, 10 senior girls, 10 senior boys, and there'll be some games that we'll try to fit in. There'll be some games that'll be canceled for weather conditions or whatever. But we're going to do our best to get 20 games out there. And we cover the senior high, we do the senior boys and senior girls, and because it's just kind of what Bud and I started years ago, and we said we really don't want to get into junior high simply because give these kids something to shoot for, to look forward to when they get in high school, and stick it out where you can get on quote TV as such. And but everything's the live streaming has just opened up doors for all of us to be able to watch. And I mean, I'm excited about being a part of it too, even though I'm not on the air. As I'll do a post game show or whatever. But
Just a couple sodas.
We were talking about it just a couple of nights ago at the house. I started out years ago as the gopher, the guy who went and got the soda pops and the candy bars for Bud and Freeman or Bud and Gene Howe, and I got to be the gopher. And then I had a long run of getting to be Bud Black's right-hand man in the booth. And then I became that man, and Randy Klepeczka and I became, tag team partners for 19 years. And then in the next couple of years, I'm back to the gopher guy. I'm the guy that gets to go down and get the Skittles, and I'm the guy that gets the popcorn and the hot dogs.
You do a fine job.
Thank you, Ben. And the good thing about it, what I really like about this crew, and I really do, as I said, guys, do y'all need anything down there? And they tell me what they need. I said, well, do y'all have any cash? And they say, no. So I always bring extra cash for this bunch because they won't take my debit card down here at the concession stand. At any place I've ever been, except Springfield and Memphis, where in minor league baseball, they don't take cash. They don't take cash at all. But let's do a Two Chicks a Birthday report, and we'll be right back right after this. Chicks Florist and More birthday report. Happy birthday today to Chris Avalos. Paige Ballou has a birthday today. Mary Cullens has a birthday, as does Candy Williams. And then tomorrow, November the 30th, Scott Lofton, Kevin McCormick, Jeremy Long, and Kathy Hook Neal, all with birthdays. And on Wednesday, December the 1st, Judy Beard, Patty Simpson, Brenda Stegall, and Heather Jones, all with birthdays. On Thursday the 2nd, Jan Jackson Maris has a birthday. Madeline Statler, Peyton Mitz, Dana Hopkins also with a birthday on the 2nd. Then on Friday, Mary Lynn Washington Wyatt with a birthday, Janet Blair, Roy Buck Perrin, the class of 1974, and Troy Scott with a birthday. Also on Friday, Leanne Holmes with a birthday, Newport Greyhound Eli Alcorn, Trey Susky with a birthday, Shelley Marler has a birthday, Zach MacArthur, Seth Davis, and Nora Gibson, all with birthdays on Friday. And then on Saturday, December the 4th, TJ Palazzi from Batesville, Doug the Monster Adams with a birthday, Leslie Clausen Tinsley has a birthday on Saturday, as does Mary Jordan and Marty Gates. Happy birthday to those folks. And then on Sunday the 5th, Brenda Travis, Arizona Sharp, Susan Keller Johnson has a birthday, Connor Prince, and Kyle Dodson, and Cable 15 TV's Ben Black, all with birthdays on December the 5th. Happy birthday from all of us at Cable 15 TV, and also from Two Chicks Florist and More. What?
I don't know if you got Gracie McGuire in there.
Oh, she's not a Facebook friend of mine. 15 years old today, is that right? 14, 13, 12, 15?
I think she's
15.
Is it 15?
I think she's 15.
Golly gee.
Yeah, she's not a Facebook friend of mine. That's where I get the birthdays, but 15, I believe, is what she is. Well, I mean, that's just what the sign said out front. I don't know. You know, two chicks brought them sign out there and said, "Happy 15th birthday to Gracie." It might have said 14 because I was from the road, which was like 40 feet over, so it could have been.
She could be 15.
I think she's 15.
14, 15. It all runs together.
She's either 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17 for sure. I think
They didn't start with a 2.
Well, I'm not sure, but I do know this. She is having a birthday today. So happy birthday to Gracie. I did not mention her, and thank you so much for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
You're a good man. You're a good man. Program brought to you by Hubba Hubba. Real easy for me to say. Ben, you talk about Dia Scrap Metal. We're going to talk about a couple of our sponsors right here, and just tell us what those guys do out there at Dia Scrap Metal. And
Well, they put cash in your pocket.
there you go. There you go.
You take them some old junk that you're tired of looking at, or that you find in the trash can that somebody else has thrown out, and they're going to give you cold hard cash for it. And you're going to walk away, and you're going to go down the store, and you're going to buy you a soda pop, and sit there and pat that pocket and go, boy, I tell you what, I got a bunch of junk laying around. I'm going to go get me another load after this soda pop. They buy junk iron, David. Copper, cans, aluminum,
Right.
Radiator cores, steel, short iron, long iron, any kind of steel and metal products they will buy. They'll give you, like I said, cold hard cash.
Cars.
Yes, cars. They got car crushers. If you've got an old junker car that's just sitting there that your great grandma left you, and there's a tree growing up through the hood of it, and you're tired of looking at it, those guys will take it and will give you good hard earned money for it, and you'll be glad to get rid of your junk.
And when you get that hard-earned cash, you can just come on down the road a little bit, and you can go to C&M Ag Depot for some Christmas shopping.
They have all kinds of I say it's a man store, but I guess there's ladies things in there too.
Yeah, they do tools too.
Ladies do
They
tools
hunt
too.
too.
That's right. Every kind of power tool that you can think of. Milwaukee DeWalt power tools. What I like about it, when my Milwaukee stuff gets where I think it needs a little attention, I can just go take it down there and I get a new one.
Right.
That Milwaukee fixes it. It's lifetime warranty. Great stuff. Very rarely I've got a Sawzall that's going on 4 or 5 seasons in the field with me, in the irrigation field, and I'm telling you,
Which is about
it's very hard.
30 years to a normal person.
That's exactly right. And it stayed wet constantly. It was wet. It was muddy. It's in the sun. It's in the rain. But it's still going strong. I hadn't had to turn it in yet. But I keep thinking one of these days it's going to give out, and I'm going to go up there and I'm going to have them send it back and get me a new one. But they have all kinds of stuff. Christmas gifts, ammunition. I had a guy message me on Facebook about some ammunition. The last time I was in there, which was I guess about last week, had all kinds of ammunition. More ammunition than I'd seen anywhere in a long time. So go up there and check out their ammunition, see what all they got there. Do some Christmas shopping, all kinds of hunting decor, Carhartt clothing, camouflage clothing, deer attractants, duck calls, decoys, decoy bags, trailer hitches, trailer lights. I mean, I could go on and on. Disc plows, disc bearings. Just thinking of some of the things that I have bought down there, but they have it all. It's a great store. It's right out here on Highway 367 across from George Kell Ballpark. Go out and see them and spend
Old
some
Farm
money with
Service
them.
Center building. I mean,
Yes.
they've been there, for several years now. We talk about them, and
The Coleman family.
yeah, and
We and
Ben
Jennifer Coleman.
really before we came on the air had one of his buddies text him, said, "Now you were talking about who on the game the other night that does whatever." Saying, and Ben gave it's customers, so we appreciate seeing him Ag Depot. Kenny Fletcher Land Surveying, and he's just our buddy. Cha-Cha's our buddy Ben, and he's surveying Arkansas. Just
And Jeremy Long.
yeah, they get after it. Talk about what those guys do.
You talk about guys that go the extra mile. I could call Kenny and say, Kenny, I don't know anything about this place. I know this is where it's supposed to be at. Can you find me something on it? More than likely, he's already got something on it. But he always says, man, let me just go out and flag it. Let me go find the stakes, and I'll flag it, and I'll mark it for you. That way we know for sure. Instead of, I'm not going to say anybody would do this, but I have heard stories about people going out and marking stuff and it being wrong and it costing people a lot of money.
Right.
Kenny Fletcher always is spot on. He is where the pen. He finds the pen. He comes out. He makes sure. He triple checks it. He does what he has to do. I saw him one day. It was about 97 degrees outside, and he was in knee boots and had a weed eater, and I think Jeremy Long had a push mower, and they had to clean the side of a ditch bank out just to get to the pen. But you know what? I drove back by about an hour later. It was cleaned up, looking good, and they found the pen. So
you
they go the extra mile at Kenny Fletcher Land Surveying.
Oh, their phone number is 523-5625. And, of course, Fathead Pizza, one word, all caps. We appreciate what those guys do and sponsoring the hit of the week. And we got 2 and at least 3 possible certificates to hand out for this week. But we thank the Hemry boys for all they do for our community and for helping support the Greyhounds and Cable 15 TV, and then White River Health System, and open. If you need Dr. Randall Hunt, Dr. Nicole Lawson, I saw an ad on a billboard today. Over 15 years at the Newport Diagnostic Medical Clinic that these folks have been in business. Give them a call, 512-2500 for an appointment. Farmers Tire Mart, where the rubber meets the road. If you're looking for tires, you can get tires there. If they have tires for your cars, trucks, tractors, trailers, they do all kinds of automobile service work, Ben. They're working on our stuff all of the time because our stuff is not the newest of stuff, because I guess when they work on our junk, and when they're going to a few more times work on a little bit more, and then we'll be taking it out to die as scrap metal.
That's exactly
That's
right.
the vehicles that we drive.
Well, we started Kell.
We started
ended up at
Kell.
Farmers Tire Mart.
We started George Kell Motors.
And we finish them out there at Dye Scrap Metal. No doubt, David. Farmers Tire Mart's been in business a long, long time. The Bain family, they're great people. It's always good to go in and get to visit with Miss Linda, Mr. Tommy, Miss Marty. They now have Miss Marty's son is working in there.
It's a
Tommy,
family-owned operation.
It's a family business. You got Edgar, Linnell, Bruce, all been there a long time, which speaks volumes about your workplace. If you got guys that have been there and they're been there a long, long time. I can't remember how many years Bruce told me the other day when I had my junk in there.
There you go.
Repaired.
There you go.
But yeah, Farmers Tire Mart. If you need some tires, need alignments, brake work, go see those guys. They'll take care of you.
Hayden Schultz, what's your favorite at El Puente Mexican Restaurant? All
Well,
pretty good.
I'll
isn't it?
tell you what, last night I had Super Nacho Fajitas.
There you go.
What would you
When's
have
the last
tonight if you went in there?
Tonight, I'm not starving, so I might go light with some chicken, cheese, and rice, something like that.
Polio Huaca.
Yeah.
What?
Whatever.
Polio chicken, OXCAA or something.
You trying to speak Spanish?
No, I'm just reading what the menu says.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
what they don't call it, chicken, cheese, and rice. But
They know what I'm talking
It's the
about.
best Mexican food in the world.
It is.
It is the
I-
best Mexican food in the world, and
I can remember, David, going out of town as a kid because we didn't have a Mexican restaurant here.
right.
You'd go to either Jonesboro or West Memphis, Little Rock, one of those places, and you'd go out of town and eat Mexican food. Since they have been here, you kind of forget, about the other places, and you go back to these other places as I've been an adult, and I go, man, I remember this being so great, but it doesn't compare to what I've had out here. It's another level of Mexican food, and there's a reason people come from all over to eat at Manuel's El Puente restaurant.
Well, I want to mention Unity Health Newport for what all they do for the community, and always sponsoring something on our Greyhound broadcast. And they're your community health care provider for inpatient, outpatient care. And always remember Unity Health Newport for just if you need emergency service. They have a tremendous emergency room, and they're quick, and they get you in, they get you taken care of, and they can get you out of there in a timely manner. But Unity Health Newport, they're located at 1205 McLean Street, Newport. Delta Trailer Manufacturing Company, over 50 years in the business. Dale and Mary Eves and Amy and Todd Norris. A family-owned business for 50 years, been building trailers and selling them all over the United States of America. They do it right, Ben.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, David. Started in his backyard. How long?
It's been 50-plus years.
50-plus years. Everywhere you go, you see a Delta trailer. Everywhere you go.
If you see a trailer, it's a Delta trailer.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's the old logo, which was when he first started, whether it was the logo in between, whether it was the logo after that, or the new logo, one of the 4 or 5 logos that they've had, it's been a dynasty for them, and it's been great for our community. They employ a lot of people and provide a great product. I've got an old Delta trailer over at my house right now that, man, it's just solid. It's hard to find a trailer like a Delta built.
We also want to mention Temp Pro, Sam Laster Jr., John Lassiter, and if you're needing some heat, your heater worked on, and I need to get those boys back over here and let them take another look at my heater, and 501-827-3213. And also our thoughts with their family. And Sam Senior's having some health issues and just got out of the hospital down at Unity in Searcy. And but anyway, hope he gets to feeling better, and I'm sure he will. He's doing some rehab, and good luck to you, my friend. We love all the Laster family. They're just simply good folks. And, of course, Customized Vision Care, we'll talk more about them here in a little bit. But, all right, guys, we're going to try to get out of here. I do have Customized Vision Care look back coming up, and it's a little video that Ben did with Josh and family, and Josh's family and your family, and a little hunting video. And it may have some music on there that's not supposed to be on there, but we'll see if it'll work.
We'll give them credit at the end of the video.
Oh, okay, absolutely. But final thoughts on anything sports-wise, guys?
Well,
Ben Black.
Looking forward to basketball season for the Hounds. I want to say thank you to all those guys that are now has-beens. Join the crowd, guys. It's going to be different, but you'll get through it. And, good luck to you Hounds coming up.
Hayden Schultz.
Go Hounds.
As always, from the 3 of us, the 4 of us, go Hounds.
October morning in the Ozark Mountains, hills are blazing like that sun in the sky. I fell in love there, and the fire still burning, flame that never will die. Moonlight dancing on a Delta levee to a band of frogs and whippoorwills. I lost my heart there one July evening, and it's still there, I can tell. Oh, I may wonder, but when I do, I will never be far from you. You're in my heart, and I know you'll always be. Arkansas, you run deep in me. Magnolia blooming, Mama smiling, mallard sailing on a December wind. God bless the memories I'd keep recalling, like an old familiar friend. And there's a river rambling through the fields and valleys, smooth and steady as she makes her way south. A lot like the people whose name she carries. She goes strong and she goes proud.